Kevin Baker of The Hope Conspiracy joins me and Ned on the Underground. Kevin, thanks so much for taking time out, man. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh, man, very, very excited. I wanted to know, first up, how's the city of Boston right now after the Celtics won the championship?
I think people have sobered up a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. yeah. Maybe a few hangovers that are still lingering, but yeah. I think everything's all back to normal.
Yeah, I know that you're a big ice hockey guy. Are you into the NBA as well?
I mean, I'll watch it, throughout the season here and there, but I definitely watch the finals, because
Yeah.
you gotta watch that. I'm not like a big Celtics fan or anything, but I'll definitely watch when they're in there, in the playoffs.
Is there like a certain buzz around the city or anything like that? Like, does it go crazy for the championship, or I guess it's sort of old hat for the Celtics? They're one of the best of all time.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. I think what was it? 08 was the last one. So
Yeah.
you got a whole new generation that haven't experienced, a Celtics championship, I guess. And yeah, so there you go. They got one.
Man, I'm more excited about the Hope Conspiracy getting back together. It's the best news. How were the recent shows?
Oh, they were actually amazing. Yeah, we to be honest, when we went into it, I had no idea what the reception was going to be like, or who would be into it, who would care. It wasn't really like it wasn't like something that was like weighing on my mind at all. But when we announced the shows and they sold out, and then we had to move the venue to a bigger venue in Boston, and then that sold out, I was like, damn, that's awesome. And yeah, and so they went really well. I think everyone had a good time and seemed to, everyone seemed to have good things to say about, the shows, all the bands that played, and yeah, we were real happy with it.
Oh, that is awesome right there. Now, Kevin, I want to know, are you a big time sort of nostalgic type guy?
What do you mean?
Like, do you like to look back on the past, like tours of old and that sort of thing? Or are you sort of more moving into the future?
I mean, I'm always in the moment. That's just how I've always been. But I do look back. I mean,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I always look back at, or when we're all together, talk about, all the times we had together and the funny moments and the bad moments and, everything that went with it. But yeah, no, we pretty much I'm always just sort of looking forward and being in the moment. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, the reason I asked, Kevin, is because like when I discovered that you guys were back together, you were one of the first hardcore bands that I ever saw live back in 2003, and I'm like, that is amazing. Yeah, do you remember coming out to Australia back then? It was September 2003. Yeah. Done a little bit of research since. I saw you not once but twice. I think you toured with Day of Contempt, possibly.
Yes.
This was. Yeah, that was crazy. Check this out, man. For those listening, you can't see it, but I've got the Hope Conspiracy CD here and Day of Contempt as well. And this is looking every bit of it's 22 years old at the moment, but just an amazing album, that Endnote album, Kevin.
Is that the Australian? Did we put it out? Did we license it? I forget.
I don't know. It's got the slipcase here, and
is it just an Equal Vision logo on there, or?
Equal Vision. Yes, there's an Equal Vision logo on there. I don't think it's anything.
Okay. I couldn't remember if we licensed it to somebody out there or if Equal Vision actually just put it out down. Yeah. No, that people like that record. Yeah.
Oh man, it's an absolute favorite of mine. Awesome. But before we jump into that, what are your fond memories of Australia and touring out here? I know it's a minute ago now at 22 years.
Well, the trip out there was epic because we're coming from the East Coast, and so the whole plan, I remember, was to have a day off when we finally got to Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
And we on the way to LA to catch our connecting flight, we had to make an emergency landing in Denver because
Oh, no way.
apparently a landing gear wasn't working. And they weren't telling us in the cabin what was wrong. They were just like, it was just an announcement over the speakers to, put your seats back up. And then they started giving us the spiel about, how to handle basically a crash landing. And
Wow.
people started looking at each other like, what? and anyway, as we're coming into Denver, we see all the, there must have been like 20 emergency vehicles, all with their flashing lights on, waiting for us to, come into the, come land on the runway and whatever. And luckily, I guess the landing gear came out. We all lived, or, nothing major happened. But point being, that means we were delayed like however many hours and missed our connecting flight to, Australia. So we lost an entire day, which meant when we did finally get to LA and then stayed overnight in LA, caught the next flight out, and then caught our connecting flight from Sydney to Brisbane, we had to play that night after after traveling 20, I think it was, I swear to God, 23 hours, 20, it was insane. And but I remember that night like it was yesterday. And I remember like mentally, physically, I felt like I was fucked. Luckily the show was like crazy, and like any like any inability to like do well on stage was completely covered up by the fact that a ton of people came out and made it like a madhouse. So it was I remember that really, really well.
I can imagine that's the sort of thing that would have most people not even wanting to jump back on a plane, Kevin. Wow.
I don't like flying either, so
geez.
I've actually had dreams about flying back down there, and like the epic, I mean, like I said, it's, what is it, from LA, it's like 18 hours or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Is there talks of that? That's what I'm hoping. I was going to ask you a little bit later about the possibility.
I mean, we've always wanted to come back, and then 1 year turned into 2 years, turned into 10 to 20, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, damn, like do I have it in me? I do, definitely. But if we were someone started talking to us about it and was serious about it, and it made financial sense, and we could fit it into our schedules, because everyone's got, I got my thing, my career, my job, people that, count on me. And then everyone else has their own schedules, other bands that they're in full time. And so it's really, it's not just that easy, like saying yes to something like that. It's like, okay, how do we do this? Like, is this possible? But I would, trust me, and I would love to make that happen if it is possible.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I was going to ask you a little bit later, but just talking about your nightmare experience there. Hopefully this time it'll be a little bit more smooth sailing. Endnote, though, Kevin, like, to me, is one of the greatest sort of hardcore albums of all time. There was just something life-changing about it. I'm not sure. I think it was one of the first ever hardcore shows that I saw live. Did you guys know you were onto something special when you recorded it? It's like one of those ones where it's just not one skippable track, just bam.
I mean, no. I mean, it was just, it was like one of those things where, this band has had many phases, and that was sort of that was the next phase after, that Cold Blue era. And, our first full, the demo, the first full length, and then the following, 7-inch that we did on Bridge 9. And that, once that era closed, we had a different lineup, people left for whatever reason or quit for whatever reason. And basically on that record, me and Jonas are the two remaining original members. Aaron Lisi joined, while, we were, still touring on Cold Blue and stuff. But, Jared Alexander, played drums. He helped write the so the four of us, Aaron, Jared, Jonas, and me recorded recorded that record. And so it had a different feel, it had a different vibe. And I was, to be honest, like I was like, okay, this is going more towards where I feel the band should be going, as
Yeah.
opposed to where it was before. Not that I have anything against the stuff we did before, but it was just, this is more in line with, what my vision of a band that I want to be in is like.
Yeah,
So
no, I hear what you're saying there, man. And like, it's been a minute since you guys sort of put material out. Like, why was there such a long break in between, Kevin?
life, I don't know, just
Yeah.
like it's just weird. I'm at that age. We're all at that age now. Meaning us in the band, where like, it unfortunately just time slips by, and the urgency to do these things just doesn't. It's not like it was. It wasn't like we have to do this. By this certain time. Like it just sort of again, jobs, families, other bands, other responsibilities, and then, after the last show, 2010, January 2010, I started a side project called All Pigs Must Die.
Yes.
Which was really just supposed to be a side project, because even at that time, I was like, I don't have time to do this kind of thing anymore, but I don't mind doing it for fun on the side. And then next thing you know, that fast forward, three full lengths and
Yeah.
a couple EPs. And next thing you know, it's 2018, and then it's 2019, and then we started to like talk about, this, we should do this. We should like put out a new record. We should do something, play a show, whatever. But whenever we were offered shows, offered to play, like say a fest, or, get on somebody's reunion show, our whole thing was like, well, we're not doing anything until we have a reason to do it. And because I'm not someone who's like, I'm just not going to live off like this past thing. I want to do something new and, promote it. And whether people like it or not, I don't give a shit. And, but, and not to, say fuck you to anyone who's a fan of us, but like, because we'll always pull out the old songs and play them. But like, at the same time, it's just, to me, it's like, if this is going to happen, then let's get serious and write some new music and, make it, in my opinion, legit. And so, COVID happened, and that erased a couple of years. And, still, though, in that time, it was basically Jonas. I mean, basically the whole time, it was Jonas, Niraj, and Jared Shavelson, who, we're all out on the West Coast, and we're able to like, actually get together easily, more easily than I could, because I'm out on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And, work on ideas. And they did it for years and years and years. And I'd be getting demos and practice-based demos, and, and I wasn't taking it too serious for a very, very long time. And then, as life happens, you just realize like, oh, wow, I'm not getting any younger. Obviously, you can see by the amount of grays on my head right now. It's time ain't standing still. And it's like, well, shit, man, if we're going to do something, it better happen now, because, really it's, if we don't do it now, who the hell, we might as well stop talking about it. And so, yeah, we got serious about it. I'd say, it was 2022, was when we really, I started flying out there, to meet with them and get in the practice space and throw ideas around. And
Yeah.
and then that's where the new record really came together, through that whole experience. And would make time to go out to the desert and go see shows and stuff like that. And it, it felt like, oh wow, I'm hanging with my friends again. Like I'm doing the thing that I actually love and miss doing, with the people that I had some of the best experiences in my life with. And so I think that really added to, the music that we were creating, the new music, I should say, that we were creating.
Yeah, that's amazing right there, Kevin. And it's sort of what I was talking about before, just listening to you speak then. It's like you're not a nostalgic sort of guy. You're saying like if you wanted to do this, you wanted to do it properly, put new music out and keep moving forwards, what I'm hearing from there. And it's just amazing to see. And the new album, Tools of Oppression, Rule by Deception. Man, it's a good one too. How's the reaction been so far? Like live and things like that?
I mean, I think, like anything else, you're going to run into the fact that people that love your band, they want to hear what they want to hear, which is the stuff that, they remember from, say Endnote or Cold Blue or whatever. But that being said, it's gotten a good reaction. People seem to, really like it. And I was actually surprised, I when I'm like, okay, we're going to play a new one, I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to be a real lull in the set, but, in Boston, it was just like the energy just was there the whole time. In Brooklyn, Philly, I noticed, it was like more of a, it was a Sunday night thing. So maybe when we'd play the old ones, it was like ape shit. And then it was like the new one would play and it was like more like subdued and like, kind of what I would expect. But at the same time, people, I don't know, they bought the records, that we were set, at the merch table, and we sold out of them. And
nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like anything else. You got to plant it out there, and people need to absorb it and to really start to appreciate it. And we'll see what happens. I know it's my favorite one.
Yeah, I love that.
But that's how I am. I always like the newer stuff more than the old stuff.
Oh, I love that, man. Like the first two tracks are just amazing. Those Who Gave Us Yesterday is one of the most hard-hitting tracks. I love it. It's got a very end of the world sort of feel to it or something. I love it. I want to see that live bad, man. Are you behind the visuals for that?
I mean, all the art direction really came from within the band.
Yeah.
But Alex Hare, who was the art, Death Traders, who was the artist for the EP and the LP, and we wanted him because we loved his artwork. We thought it would fit really well with the vibe of the record, and and like we just sort of like fed him ideas, and then he would come back and we'd just go back and forth. It was actually really fun to go through that whole process of just creating the visual aspect of the record, and having it be something that matched the message, the overall message of the record, because I think the record really ties together song to song in terms of message, and what's being said.
Oh man, definitely. So is he the same guy that did the actual artwork for the album? Like,
yeah. He did the EP, he did the LP, he did the everything about the LP,
and the videos.
The videos are a different guy. That's
Yep.
Moth Powder Light Show. Jake Mulhern, I believe. Yeah. He did the 3 videos for the promo videos for the singles leading up to the release date.
Well, On that topic, Kevin, are there any more singles to come off that, or what's the what's the this one?
You got all the singles you need for now. Yeah, but yeah, so the record's out, came out on the 31st of May. So yeah, we played those 3 shows, and now we're gonna go headline a show out in Chicago, the Rumble out in Chicago, which is the 19th and 20th of July.
Nice.
And then we have the West Coast scheduled for September. The first 2 weeks of beginning of September. I forget the dates at the moment. And then we just announced 2 shows. One for mainland Europe, and then London. 2 shows only, because that's the only thing that's all we could make time for, and we're just trying to make time to get out there where we can, how we can. Again, juggling everybody's schedules is tough, and we're actually making the best effort we can to get out there and play where we can. So hopefully 2025 we'll still be able to add some more dates, and go to places that we haven't been to, like Australia.
I was about to say, you've got to come back out here. We need to hear that new music, man. And like, I was going to ask you as well, Kevin, like you mentioned All Pigs Must Die earlier. Are you going to continue doing that sort of stuff, or have you sort of concentrating on Hope Conspiracy moving forward?
I mean, finding the time to even do this right now is tough,
Crazy.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the last time APMD played was 2018, September 2018, and then we kind of just how it goes, it stops, not for any reason really other than just life, and that's kind of where that band stopped. But the thing with the bands I've always been in, it's we've never made any grand announcements or statements about breaking up, last shows, this, that, the other thing, because personally it's I find that kind of shit corny. And at the same time, it's well, what if I'm not done? What if I'm done now, but I'm want to come back to it 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? And and now you're oh, we're back. It's no, I didn't leave. I just stopped for a little while, and now I'm coming back to it because I'm ready to have some shit to say. We have some some songs that we put together, and it's just I just feel not making any announcements, grand statements about being having a last show or not. If I say we're having a last show, believe me, that's going to be the last show. You will not see us again. And so with APMD, we didn't do that because it might not be done, and we might have more stuff down the line.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Kevin, man, I love that. But when I was looking into this, I'm oh, I've got to think of some cool stuff here to talk to Kevin about. I didn't even realize that bars existed. It was one of those bands that just sort of, I've been listening to this band now for 3 days, and that to me is a brand new album as well.
Oh shit. You never heard the Bars record, huh?
I'd never heard it until 3 days ago. So I've been bumping that flat out for the last 3 or 4 days. Man, any updates on, did you announce a final show on that, or could we see more Bars? I really dig that.
Bars, I think, I mean, I'm not saying anything's, it's not possible, but I really think that'll never happen, because I do know the guys in that band don't want anything to do with that band anymore. Yeah, that was I think that part of our lives collectively was a real low point. And I'm not saying that about the music, just how people were living, and how people were, it just, we weren't at the top of our game as people, and and just trying, and we were trying new music. And then our bands, our main bands at that time, whether it was Hope Conspiracy or American Nightmare in Tim's case. We're all kind of just in that stage of the game at the end of at the end of an era, and so, it was just me, at that time, just trying to figure out what my next move in life was going to be. And just once you get on that wagon of like, playing live music and traveling and recording and traveling and recording, which was what I was on, it was like, okay, wait, what am I like? Is this what I want to do? Or, is this, not that I don't want to do it, but is this what I want to do exclusively? Like, is my, my career? And it wasn't. So that was, I think, everybody's sort of mindset, like, especially when we would get out there with that band, and it was like, we were trying to be, I guess like a rock and roll crossover, like kind of thing. And, we would get out there, and some of the bands that would be on the bill, we were just like, holy shit, like, we are not gonna be playing a few shows with this band. These people are just LA fucking losers. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, we're on the East Coast, and we're just like, we're the headliner, and then these total like LA dorks would show up, like dressed up in their costumes and their stupid and saying whatever stupid shit from the stage, and we were just like, nope, bye. We like left in the middle of a tour, like, basically.
Oh, really?
There you go. Yeah, we were like, yeah, we're not doing this. Fuck this. These people are literal clowns. Like, the only thing they were missing was the big red nose and the fucking clown shoes. Like, that's my opinion. I'm not going to name any names because it doesn't even matter because they're so irrelevant. But yeah, so that was that band's fate.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. Like I said, it's like breaking out a brand new record. I'm like, this is just, like, it's very different. But at the same time, I really enjoyed it, so, Kevin. So hats off to you guys for that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we were just, it was like at that time where, we were like, we wanted to scratch that itch because we were playing hardcore, and then we were like, well, we want to do a side project with that because, that we're like channeling the Dead Boys and, AC/DC and that kind of thing. And just, it was literally just, we were going to record that record. And then again, we play a show, and next thing you know, you're doing a tour and etc. I love probably got a little bit further than we wanted it to.
Yeah, the LA Dorks. I love that right there. Wow. Tools of Oppression, Rules by Deception is a damn good one. It's available right now, like you were saying. You can even pick it up on your website in limited edition vinyl. Are you a vinyl collector or anything like that, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. I have to get rid of some stuff because it's gotten past the point.
Really?
Yeah, like now it's all piling in front of the record shelves because I don't have any more space on the shelves. And there's like a lot of things that I'm like, I look and I'm like, when are you ever going to listen to this? It's like, I got to unload. But I do. I love vinyl. I love collecting vinyl. I love listening to vinyl. So
nice. I love that. So what's your most prized vinyl that you would have? Like, what's the number one, would you think?
I would have to look at Discogs because at this point, it's
so many.
I kind of forget, but I've got some pretty cool stuff that, I mean, nothing like earth shattering, nothing that's like, like the Beatles, like Butcher album, like, I don't have, I've got things that are, probably worth a few $100 here and there and whatever. Nice. Some Misfits and Sam Hain records.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. I like that kind, that kind of stuff to me is like, because it's just, very nostalgic, just like it is for many people. Anything Danzig related is very much, a very universal thing for people, including myself. So, that's, but mostly a lot of old punk and hardcore, also just like rock and roll, reggae, you name it, real, mix of things.
I love it, man. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out. Before I let you go, can you let me know like a bit of an out there fact about you that might spin your fans out to know about you?
An out there fact. Apart
from your days as playing glam rock.
Oh, you got me. Yeah. Yeah, when I was in a Kiss cover band, I was Paul Stanley. You know, that was out there fact. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have anything for you that I'd like to share that's out there.
Yeah, okay. Uh, that's all good, my man. I really appreciate you taking time out. Is there anything else we need to know, Hope conspiracy-wise, before I let you go? Fingers crossed, touch wood on that Australian tour, but anything else we need to know, Hope conspiracy-wise?
At the moment, you know, just the records out there and out on Death Wish Records, and you can find it on all streaming, and you can buy the record basically, you know, directly from Death Wish or whatever distro you have near you that has a good selection, I guess.
Yeah, no, nice. Love that right there. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking time out. Be sure to hit these guys up, thehopeconspiracy.com. Links to all of their socials on there. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it too. Thank you very much.